What's going on, everyone? So welcome to my latest video. This is part of a series where I focus on a specific director and rank that director's work from worst to best. I've done such directors in the past such as Andrei Tarkovsky, David Fincher, David Lynch, Wes Anderson, and many more directors. You guys can check those directors and many more directors on my director playlist on this channel. And guys, you clicked on this video though, so you know this time around I'm focused on Janathan Glazer's films and ranking them from worst to best. Now, do keep in mind I am filming this video on February 3rd of 2024. So as of said date, Janathan Glazer has done 4 feature-length films, so I'll be ranking them from 4 being his worst to 1 being his best, and of course my humble opinion. This will not include any short films, music videos, TV shows, none of that. Just specifically feature-length films that he's done, and I will again be going from 4 to 1 being his best in my humble opinion. And I do look forward to seeing your guys' personal ranking of his work in the comment section down below. But guys, enough exposition. Let's get started. So kicking things off, number 4, we have Sexy Beast. I thought this movie was okay. I respect it, but I really didn't get too much from it. It's very well acted for sure. Ray Winston does a really good job. Just an overall movie that I appreciate, but I just thought it was alright, and that's why it is my number 4. Next up, we have my number 3. This is a film that I saw quite recently, and that is Birth. Holy cow, Nicole Kidman, great performance. Alexander Desplat's score, fantastic. This is easily one of those films where right away, as soon as it ended, I was like, okay, I already know that I need to rewatch this. It is a film that I appreciated right away, but entertainment-wise, my mind did wander a bit watching this, but I can't help but really appreciate all the filmmaking and just the ambiguous nature of a lot of what's depicted. Definitely a film that watching you can't help but appreciate, and that's why I have it as my number 3. And like I said, I already look forward to revisiting this film. That's why I have it as my number 3. I liked it better than Sexy Beast, 100%. But all right, that was my number 3. Next up, my number 2, we have The Zone of Interest. So this is his most recent film, and I actually just saw it last night. So I'm still processing it, and truthfully, it's a film that as soon as it ended, my knee-jerk reaction was, all right, it was solid. But the more I think about it, the more I really appreciate how this film has it where the camera work is at a distance. You know, everything is very sterile. It's a film that it's not trying to humanize these individuals. It's just trying to show everything as very matter of fact. And I really admire this approach. Glazer's directing here is very subtle. And I also think that the sound design is just incredible. This is one of those films that it's interesting to see, especially now that I've seen all of his work, it's interesting to see Glazer's style really mold into this film. And I'll talk about Glazer's style after I'm done this ranking. I usually try to talk about the director and what I think about their style and their work, and I'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, I really respect Zone of Interest. I can definitely see this being one of those films that on rewatch, I like it more and more. And I can definitely see why I got a Best Picture nomination. And yeah, it's my number 2. Next up, my number 1, this is the film that got me introduced to his work in the first place. So my number 1 is Under the Skin. So this is a film I was a year or 2 late to. So I saw this in the summer of 2015, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, wow, that was a great film. And it's interesting because every single time that I watch this film, it's like a new experience. It is incredible, the amount of visual storytelling that's depicted. Scarlett Johansson gives a great score. Mika Levi's score is fantastic. I loved the subtleness of all this film. Like, it does a really good job of trusting audiences. And that's just it. Glazer as a director, I love how much he trusts the audiences to put 2 and 2 together to equal 4. It's just something that I really admire about him. And I gotta say, I love Under the Skin. I understand it might not be for everyone. I do. Because if you look at the reviews, I know audiences hated this film. But I gotta say, if you go into this film open-minded and you expect like a film that is a visual feast for the eyes, but also a film that has a lot under the skin, I think you'll like this film. But again, definitely not a film for everyone, but I love this film. That's why I own it on Blu-ray. I've seen it multiple times. I saw it in October of 2023 in theaters. That was something I was very glad that I got to experience in theaters. But yeah, so Janathan Glazer, let's talk about him. So I greatly admire Janathan Glazer. I will say that his directing is something that I don't necessarily fully embrace on first viewing with his work. Like I said, Under the Skin was it was an exception. But a lot of his work, because everything is done through like a lot of wide angle shots and it's from a distance, you don't necessarily fall in love with his characters. And that's intentional. It's so that way you're examining these characters. This is a director that's not really focused on plot per se. He's more focused on mood, tone, and visual storytelling. And I really admire that because he asks so much of audiences that, again, he's not going to be for everyone, but if you are on his wavelength, he is someone that is quite ambitious with that. He is a director that is constantly challenging audiences as well as himself as a director. And I greatly admire that. I hope that he does make another film. I know his last film before The Zone of Interest was Under the Skin, which was, nearly a decade ago. So I do hope that we get a film of his pretty soon because, like I said, I do respect him, even though his work I don't necessarily fully embrace, but I can't help but really admire him as a director. And that's why I decided to do this list in the first place, because I just want to get the word out there in case you don't really know Janathan Glazer. I would definitely recommend his work to film buffs especially. But guys, if you've seen Janathan Glazer's films, let me know your ranking in the comment section below. I want to see it. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget the subscription, notification bell, follow me down Letterboxd, and I will catch you guys later.